Hey everybody, it's low carbon keto nutrition specialist Amy Berger coming at you with Keto Without the Crazy. If my friend Marilyn is watching, my friend Marilyn made me these earrings, handmade. She is a polymer clay artist extraordinaire, artiste. She's amazing. She has the most incredible handmade jewelry. I get compliments on these earrings every time I wear them in public. So hats off, salute to my friend Marilyn. And let's see. As always, check out the notes. I have stuff in the notes. You know, Adapt Your Life Academy, we always have some course going on. It could be weight loss, could be keto. We have a course about cholesterol coming up. And I record a lot of my videos out of order, so I don't know which course will be, offered when. So just always look below and check out what's going on. Let's talk about mindset again, shall we? Because I don't think we can really talk enough about mindset. I know that a lot of you, especially if you're kind of new to this, you do still have a lot of questions about the nuts and bolts of low carbon keto. Like, what do I actually eat? What is best for me to eat? What's best for me to avoid? I hate should and shouldn't, so I say, what is the most conducive for me to eat and maybe less conducive for me to eat. But so yeah, some of you do still get tripped up on the food, but I think a lot more of you know what to eat and what not to eat, or you've got a good enough idea to get you pretty far. The hard part is getting your mind in line with what your brain already knows. Mind and brain are like two different things, right? There's the knowledge, the facts that your brain knows, and then there's getting your mind, all the thoughts and feelings on board to actually comply with what you know you should be doing, or what you would like to do because you think it's going to help you get to the goals you want, whether that's losing weight or lowering your blood sugar, getting off your blood pressure medicine, clearing up your skin, whatever you're doing a low carb or keto diet for. So I actually have a whole playlist on mindset. So check out the notes. I'll put a link to the mindset playlist. But I have been listening to a ton of podcasts about this over the last almost year. I actually listen to a lot less keto stuff now than I used to, but every now and then still some keto stuff. But I listened to a show today that really struck me in a good way. And the minute I heard it, I was like, whoa, I can so apply this to people having trouble sticking to a low carb or keto diet. So she basically, have you ever heard that phrase, nature abhors a vacuum? Well, your brain or your mind, whatever we're going to call it, your brain abhors a vacuum. If there's a space, your brain is going to find a way to fill it. Your brain does not like unanswered questions. If you ask yourself a question, you will answer it. Your brain will either come up with an answer or you're going to seek an answer. Somebody else or something else will give you an answer. The answer it gives you might be absolute garbage depending on the question you ask. So this is about like mindset, asking ourselves better questions, and I will give you some examples. I can almost guarantee that many of you watching or listening, however you're accessing this, many of you have asked yourselves some variation of these questions. Why am I so fat? Why can't I lose this weight? Why can't I follow this food list? Why can't I stick to this program? What's wrong with me? How many people? Yeah, me too. And the problem with those questions is that you're going to answer them. And there are no good, positive, helpful, constructive answers to any of those questions. Because here's what your brain will do. Why am I so fat? Well, I've always been fat. I've fought my way my whole life. I'm going to lose weight now. I'm 48, I'm 69, I'm 27. why can't I lose this weight? Well, because you're a fat, lazy slob. Of course you're not losing weight, you big slug. What do you think? You're just a weight loss machine like everyone else? No. You know, you will find terrible ways to answer those questions. So, you know, what's wrong with me? Well, I'm just lazy. Why can't I stick to this list? I don't know. I've never succeeded at anything. I've sucked at everything I've ever done. I've failed at everything. Why would I succeed at weight loss? Why would this be any different? You know? Your brain will answer, and you're probably not going to like the answers it comes up with. My friend Peter Ballerstedt, very well known in the low carb world, he's not a medical doctor, but he is a researcher. He's like a soil agronomy specialist. He specializes in ruminant agriculture, and so we love when he talks at our conferences and he reassures us that, you know, cows are not ruining the planet by any stretch of the imagination. Anyway, this is a family-friendly channel most of the time. I don't want to swear, so I will borrow a phrase from Dr. Ballerstedt. He says, it's male adult bovine fecal material. Male adult or adult bovine male fecal material. Put all those words together and you know the word I'm trying to say to you. If there's that void, if there's that vacuum and you ask a question, your brain will fill it with adult male bovine fecal material. If you want to fill your brain with answers that are helpful and constructive and actionable and positive and that lift you up, rather than a big fat steaming pile of male adult bovine fecal material, we have to ask different questions, because you cannot have a good, helpful, positive, constructive answer to why do I keep failing? Why am I so fat? When am I going to get my act together? Why can't I just follow this food list? Why can't I stick to this program? Every answer to that is going to be self-defeating and self-hating, right? Well, because I'm lazy, because I'm fat, because I've never succeeded at anything, because of this or because of that. How about we make a shift in the questions we ask in order to get much more helpful answers? Again, I will give you some examples. How about, instead of why can't I stick to this list? How about, what could I do today to make it easier for me to stick to the list? And whether I say list, that could be the phase 1 food list from the book I wrote with Dr. Westman called End Your Carb Confusion. It's the same food list as Dr. Westman's famous page 4. There's a link to purchase the page 4 list down below if you don't own our book. So your question could be, what could I do today to make it easier for me to follow the list, instead of why can't I follow the list? Because you'll come up with 10 reasons why you can't, and they're all crap. What could I do to make it easier? And maybe the answer to that is, I could go grocery shopping. I need to stock up on some low carb food. I could go grocery shopping. If I had a bunch of food on hand, it would be easier for me to eat low carb. Maybe you go pick up 2 or 3 rotisserie chickens and a couple of pounds of deli roast beef, just so there's plenty to grab at a second's notice that you don't even have to cook. Maybe your answer to that could be, I'm going to prepare 4 days worth of food. I'm going to take 2 hours and I'm going to cook up a storm. I'm going to use every burner and the oven and my slow cooker. You know, I'll link to videos down below in the notes. I did a video on protein prep and how you should be cooking massive piles of food to have on hand ahead of time. So aren't those answers? I could go to the grocery store and stock up. I could do my food prep today. Maybe another answer, I could clear out the pantry. You know, I bought all those chocolate bars last week and I bought that bag of chips. Maybe your answer to what could I do today to make it easier to follow the list is, get rid of all the food in your house that's not on your list. Again, whatever list you might be following, whatever program you're doing. Now, That's easier to do if you don't live with other people in your house who are eating carbs, but you know what I mean. What can you do that is within your control? Now, aren't those answers? I could go food shopping and stock up and prepare my kitchen. I could prepare a bunch of protein food. I could clear out all the food that's sabotaging me. Isn't that actionable? It's actual things that you can do for yourself. Or if you're disabled, maybe have somebody do for you, get help, whatever. I want to be inclusive when I remember to. That is helpful and positive and constructive and actionable. It's empowering. What can I do? Oh, I can go get 2 pounds of shrimp frozen and just toss them in a pot of boiling water and boom, it's ready in 3 minutes. I like it's just liberating and freeing and empowering versus, well, of course I'm not sticking to this. I never stick to anything. I fail every time. I regain the weight every time. And even I'm trying to think of like that's the biggest example I can think of, but I don't want to hit stop on the recording because I know the minute I do, I'll have this big epiphany and I'll remember something really big that I otherwise would forget. So, but you see that shift, right? If you ask a different question, you give your mind the opportunity to give you a different answer, to give you a helpful, positive answer. I think if there's any, I knew I should have made notes. Let's see. I mean, those are the questions to ask. Like, ask questions that give you a legitimate opportunity to answer with something actionable. Like I said, what can I do today to make this easier? Or even what could I do tomorrow? Maybe it's midnight when you're watching this. What could I do tomorrow? I could go to the store. Tomorrow I could food prep. What changes can I make to make all of this easier to stick to or to make this easier to do? Some people, exercise is not required to lose weight on keto, but some people enjoy it, or you do it for all the other reasons it's good. Maybe you don't love to do it, but it helps you if you lay out your workout clothes the night before, so that, let's say you do it first thing in the morning to get it out of the way. You wake up, you just pull your shoes on, you pull the shorts and t-shirt on, and you go do your thing. Maybe that's what makes it a little easier, just because you don't even have to like fumble for your clothes, your workout clothes, while you're half asleep. It's already there. So, what change can I make to make this easier? Maybe that's the food prep. Maybe it's having a conversation with your spouse or your children, or if you care for your parents and they live with you, someone in your household who is maybe a naysayer or kind of always poo-pooing and bad-mouthing keto or bad-mouthing whatever changes you're trying to make. Maybe that's an action. Maybe, oh, well, what could I do? I could have a conversation with such and such person in my life and, ask that they respect my wishes a little more, and that, be very diplomatic and polite about it, but just say, look, you don't have to do keto with me. I know you hate it. You don't have any interest in it. That's fine. But I would really appreciate if you would be a little more supportive of me doing it on my own. I have a goal that I'm trying to get to, and I'm trying to get to it via a low carb diet. And I would appreciate if you would kind of just not poo-poo it. Like, if you don't have anything nice to say nothing, or give me a little encouragement. If you notice I dropped a pound or two, say something. You don't have to do keto yourself to be okay with me doing it. So that's something else too. Maybe that's a part of a strategy that would make it easier. What could I do differently to make this all better? Maybe there's a restaurant you love that it's just not doing you any favors to go there every Friday night anymore. Maybe you've got to find a new hangout. Or maybe, I just lost my whole train of thought. like, depending on your budget, of course, and I know times are really tight for people here and there. Times are always tight for somebody, but right now it seems especially fraught. But what can I do? What can I change to make this more fun and more enjoyable? So get finances allowing, maybe you shake things up twice a month and you treat yourself to something really nice. Like you get the ribeye when you're normally kind of an 80-20 ground beef kind of family. Maybe every now and then you cook up the ribeyes, or you go to the fancy steakhouse once a month and treat yourself to a really nice, steak and like some grilled broccoli or something. They always have a vegetable or a salad. Maybe you get, maybe you get the lobster tail, the surf and turf once every 8 weeks, or maybe again at home, maybe you just buy ribeye just keeps coming to mind, but New York strip, maybe you buy like those a beef tenderloin that's like $20 a pound, or a standing rib roast, and like, make it more luxurious, more fun, if that's something that appeals to you. If I think it's okay to be a foodie even on keto. It's okay to love food is fuel, but it's a lot more than that too, and that's okay. If that's something that would excite you and make this more fun and pleasurable to stick to, do that. And if you can't afford it, do what you can afford, stick within those parameters. But again, just ask yourself different/better questions, because that way you have no choice but to come up with different/better answers. Because I'm assuming if you ask yourself something like, what could I do to make this easier for myself? You're gonna come up with something constructive, like I could stock the fridge, I could make sure I have a ton of meat in the freezer, do helpful things. I'm assuming you're not going to answer that with, well, I could stop sabotaging myself, I could stop buying chips every other day. Like, that's not where I want you to go. You're going there with the other, why can't I lose this weight? Well, because you're buying chips every other day, or because you're whatever, not that I think you're all doing that, but I just think that's a really interesting thing to think about with mindset with regard to keto. And I know I keep saying lose weight. The absolute same applies if you're trying to reverse your type 2 diabetes, or even trying to manage type 1, reduce your insulin doses if that's where you are, improve hypertension, high blood pressure, PCOS, clear up your skin, get rid of like joint pain. Everything I said applies to that too, because you need to stick to a low carb or keto diet in order to have that happen. So, it doesn't have to be, why can't I lose this weight? Why is my blood sugar still so high? Or why is my skin still such a wreck? Why do my joints still hurt so much? And to be clear, some of those things will happen anyway, regardless of diet. Stuff just happens. Sometimes we get sick. We have an allergic reaction to soap, something, you know what I mean? I'm not suggesting like every case of skin problems is diet related, or every joint, like, you know what I mean? But keto clearly is really good for a lot of those things. So just, it applies to all of that. Why am I still having a migraine every other day? Why or this, why or that? It's just, I know that probably the vast majority of you are in this for weight loss, and possibly all those other things too, but weight loss as well. So yeah, ask yourself better questions, or don't even do that if you're not there yet. The first step in this, like step all the way back, the first step is to even notice the questions you're asking yourself now. Are you in the stage of, why can't I lose this weight? Why am I such a failure? Why do I keep sabotaging? Like, if that's where you are, the first step is to just even notice that you're asking those questions that are so easily answered with adult male bovine fecal material. I can't believe I've learned to say that so quickly. Notice that, and then you gradually start to ask those better questions. And that's it. The horse is dead. I'm done beating it. I will see you next time. I don't know why you're not subscribed to the channel if you're not, but if you're not, why don't you just go right ahead and subscribe? And again, check out the links, Adapt Your Life Academy. We've always got a good course going, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.